Let's talk about, because we're talking about Belichick, what it's like to play with him. Let's do story time with Lewis and Rob. Lewis, you played with Bill, with the Browns. What's it like playing with him? And give us a sense of what it means when Tom Brady might be saying it's fun again.
Yeah, man. Look, playing for Bill is not easy. And look, I had the fortune of playing for Bill and Nick Saban being my defensive coordinator and secondary coach at the same time. So now imagine that, okay? That isn't for everybody. So let me just tell you this, 1994 season, the 95 playoffs, January 1st, 1995, we're playing the New England Patriots in the wild card playoff game. I get to start that game because of our regular starting safety. That game, Stephon Moore hadn't played. So I get to start one of my first big games of my entire career. I wound up having like 11 tackles, interceptions that you saw right there on your screen. We win a playoff game, okay? We go into the team meeting the next day. I'm already sitting there, got my chest sticking out like, yeah, I'm about to get me a game ball. Bill's about to toss it to me in front of the whole team. I'm about to get everybody patting me on the back. He reads off all these stats. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about like my stats. And he goes, and the game ball goes to Eric Turner, the late Eric Turner, the great Eric Turner, one of the other safeties who started that game. I sat there, man, I wanted to crawl underneath the seat. Or I wanted to jump up there and just jump on Bill and be like, what are you talking about? Eric turns to me and goes, no, Bill, I'm going to give this game ball to Lewis. And I'm sitting there going, Eric was one of my best friends. God rest his soul. He's one of my best friends. So after that, everybody's patting me on the back as we leave the team meeting and go to break up into individual meetings. And I'm walking down the theater steps, and I walk past Bill, and Bill's just standing there, and Bill's just looking at me. Blank face. Blank. And all he says is this: we're going to play the Steelers the next week in the divisional round in Pittsburgh. And he looks at me and goes, that's great. What are you going to do next week? And turns and walks away. And that was it. That's all he had to say. He doesn't care about what you did in the past. It was about, what are you going to do now that you got your Game Boy? Got your game ball. You feeling all good about yourself? What are you going to do next week? That's how he is, man. It's not easy playing for him.
I love that story. Rob, you must have a million of them.
Yeah, I have a lot. I'll think back to 2012. We had just lost the Super Bowl, so I'm down. I go in the locker room. I'm cleaning my stuff out. We get back from Indianapolis. That was the Super Bowl we had lost to the Giants. And in that particular season, I was on kickoff return, punt return, played every snap on defense. So the plate was full. The sections on the plastic plate, and it's got all the little compartments. It was full of stuff. And I'm walking out of the building, and Bill happens to kind of walk in with me, and we're leaving together, and he said, look, you had a lot on your plate this year, and you handled it well. And like in my head, I'm like, that was like probably the first compliment that he ever gave me, because if you're doing your job and you're doing it well, Bill is not going to give you a hug and say like, man, you're doing awesome, you're doing a great job. Like, he's just going to make sure you're doing your job. And if you're not doing your job, he's going to get somebody else in there to do it. So for me, it was just a good example of like during the season, I'm thinking like, man, I'm doing a lot here. And after the season's over, he said, you handled it well. So it's just the way Bill is. He's going to tell you every single year, it's not easy to play here. It's not the easiest place, but guess what? We're going to win football games.
Yeah, and win all the time, much to the chagrin of everybody else, and that's how they get it done.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.